Hi, welcome back. My name is Elissa Kalver. I'm the founder of WeGotThis.org, and I live with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. Today, June 4th, 2025, is my 38th birthday, and I chose to spend the day with a bunch of my friends talking about some of the crazy ideas we've had in our lives, and I'm so glad that I did. It has been a blast, and I'm excited to announce my next guest, which is a friend that I met really through the breast cancer community, but we just crossed over in other ways, and we're meant to be together,
I think so too.
So welcome, Julia Johns.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, clearly didn't think I was going to be on camera. Sorry. Excuse me.
I mean, you look fantastic.
Holes in my pants.
What, these holes?
Oh my God.
No, I'm so glad this worked out. So I've been explaining everyone. I kind of just texted you last minute doing this thing. It was something I kind of had the idea for a while ago. Didn't know what the premise would really be, but after we did an 8-hour live stream here for Giving Tuesday, I was like, we should do something else with this. This is so fun. And and I was like, well, if I ask people too far in advance, I don't really have time to plan this more and all that. So I kind of just waited till
I love it. I'm down for a little, impromptu, spontaneous interview.
But yeah, before we dive into it, I've been telling everyone, so because I didn't plan a lot in advance, I'll probably, add back in on the beginning a little intro and things like that. But, I've thought of it from when people would read bios that you send them, when you're on a podcast. I'm like, let me let the guests kind of tell us what they want us to know about them. So I thought maybe you could kind of give us a brief intro of who Julia is.
Sure. Who am I? Still figuring it out. I am, I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. Then I was a teacher. I went to school for teaching, which is then what I was thinking about for my crazy thing is moving to New York and doing comedy. And so then I started doing stand-up comedy, loved it. And so I'm a comedian and writer and illustrator. I kind of just, once I got into the creative world, just love it and don't want to be doing anything else. Living the struggling artist life. And yeah. That's who I am.
And you happen to have breast cancer.
And I happen to have breast cancer.
Yeah, just tell us.
Which then that went into the comedy. Was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2022 and did a stand-up set where I wrote some jokes about it, and it just felt really good, cathartic to write about that. And I'm always, finding the funny in things. And as I continued on through treatment, just kind of kept writing about it and performing it, and it felt really good, and it was very rewarding, and so I'm working on that still now.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, you don't belong anywhere else other than comedy and performing. So,
I think so.
When you say teacher, I was about to be like, I just can't even picture that. That would be confining you into a box.
It is, oh my God, I can't. And I've still I'll substitute teach, and it's a nice flexible thing.
Fun,
and then schools are like, oh, do you want to we're hiring or whatever? Would you do that? I'm like, no. Yeah. I want to come in, sit there while the kids do stuff, and get the hell out of there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like being an aunt.
Yeah. Yes. It's being an aunt versus a mom. Yeah. And I want that aunt life.
I love it. Yeah. We'll dive more into the crazy story stuff, but I know Eric and we got to come experience a Tale of Two Titties that you did, which was so fun. How long have you been doing that for now? When
I first started workshopping it, so the very first time I guess was February 2023. So a couple years now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And A Tale of Two Titties kind of speaks for itself. I love the name.
Thank you.
And we had such a blast watching it, and I love that you've you have turned through comedy for it. Me not being in the comedy world, I got to experience a bit with at the Crow in Santa Monica.
Yes.
They did that story act to me piece, and my friend told me about it, and I was like, that seems cool, I'll try it out. And I've infused some of that stand-up comedy stuff into other parts, whether it be public speaking or essays or other things that I'm doing, and It makes me so happy.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. I
think
love
it's
when
so
you
fun.
post a clip from something and it's like a joke and one of your things. And I'm like,
Yeah, I was at like the like nonprofit federation conference in DC,
Yeah.
and I was like, speaking of AYA, yeah, it was so funny. So
Yeah.
I love that. And what would you refer to like your show? Is it a one woman show? Like, how do you describe it?
Yeah, one woman show, and then kind of specifically, it's like storytelling and stand up, because a lot of one woman shows, it's this whole theater piece with characters, and it's like, because that's not my background, kind of the only thing I knew was just to stand up, and then there's the slideshow with incorporating my illustrations in it and some other things. But yeah, it's mostly it's one woman show.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, and I want to dive into that for a sec, because there's a part of your show and with your slideshow where, because this was a big thing of replacing the word journey with other words.
Yes.
Okay, and so before we dive into how you explain it, I write about this in the introduction of my book, because I use the word journey, and it's definitely like not a word that the majority of the cancer community likes, and because it's been kind of overused, and like you don't need to be appreciative of the journey and all that stuff, which I totally agree with. But it's just like you can only fill it with like experience or other things so many times,
Right?
And so it actually is like what I think of.
Yeah.
So I kind of give a disclaimer like, give me a pass, because this is just what feels natural.
It is the word, yeah.
But before I saw you perform it, I had, I Googled, ChatGPT'd synonyms, and man, is that fun.
Yep.
Can we dive into some of those? Yeah. My favorite that you brought up was safari.
Yes, that's what
I had seen that,
Yeah.
so I like died laughing, because it's true. If you Google like synonyms for journey, safari
is
was
one. So now I've been on a cancer safari.
Yeah. What were some of the others?
I don't even. Safari stuck out, and I was like, "That's it. That's the safari."
Yeah. I saw like one was like a cruise.
That's good. Cancer cruise.
Yeah. There's some really good ones, and if you didn't see that someone had searched for synonyms, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
I'm on a cancer cruise.
I'm on a cancer cruise, because that's what it's like. Journey does kind of make the most sense, because experience feels like a shorter thing. And when it is years or it's the rest of our lives, like it does feel like journey is fitting, even though,
and I mean, it makes sense, because it was fitting, and then it kind of became too fitting.
Yeah.
And it became like very overdone.
Yes.
But are there any terms that like you're like, hey, don't use those around me? Or are you kind of like, are you term fluid in your cancer identification?
Guess I'm pretty term fluid. I'm trying to think. Do you have any that?
No, I'm like, so I mean, like I use thriver instead of survivor, but like I'm not offended by survivor or anything. I just identify more with that. But there's one that like another one that I know, and I did give this as a disclaimer as well. Like I owned a boxing gym.
Yeah.
So like using the term fighter and stuff really resonates with me just in general. Like I've always considered that a thing.
Yeah.
But that's when I know like can offend a lot of people and also feel exhausting.
Right.
But yeah, I think a lot of times how you look at it. Like I don't think fighter means you like win or lose.
Right.
I think your whole journey is winning.
Yeah,
like
and your body is battling this disease.
Yeah, and that's, like,
I feel like
really
it's also.
amazing.
I'm always trying to take into consideration that like it's when people use these words, they're meaning well, and that's the more important thing.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the phrases more that are different too. Like, and it all comes from a good place. So I try to always lead with that, and maybe educate where I feel like I want to take the effort, and not where I don't feel like taking the effort.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Well, enough about cancer. Let's dive into your crazy idea story. I want to hear about it.
Okay. I guess the two things that came to mind. One was like physical.
Let's do
crazy
both.
thing.
You don't even have to like give us an overview.
Well,
Let's dive in.
So the physical crazy thing. Or like the one that I mentioned, which was the more mental, emotional, was like deciding to just leave everything that I went to college for and this job that I had and this apartment that I had and move to New York to pursue comedy. And then the other one was going skydiving was a crazy thing. Yeah.
So when you moved to New York, how old were you then?
24.
So you kind of like already had a little bit of your career out of college, then you're like,
never
mind.
2 years. And that I had moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, because I got hired on the first day of school and drove down, which red flag, they're desperate for teachers. And so then I taught for 2 years. And then I had a friend who I credit with, she was doing sketch comedy and stuff in New York, and I would talk to her, and because before that I never thought, it's like I wanted to act and be funny, but I just like didn't think that it was possible. And so then it was just one of those things that I didn't want to regret not ever trying. And so it's crazy to look back and, you know, to make that decision when you're just young and dumb. But so,
well,
yeah.
and then you're like, hey, I'm just going to move to this really inexpensive city called New York.
Yep. Anything I had saved immediately went to like the first month's rent.
How long were you in New York? Did you go from New York to LA?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was there for 11 years. But somehow I'm 25.
Me too. It's my 38th birthday, but like only on paper.
Yeah, and dogs
And actually,
years.
aging is a privilege, as we know.
It sure is.
And we're like 5
I'm
lines.
67. Okay.
You know, that's a better lie. Like rather than being like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm 28, I'm 21. I'm 72.
Age up.
How
Amazing,
awesome
right?
do I like that.
You're right, yeah.
Okay, so
Start
11
aging up.
years in New York, so you were like 26 when you moved to LA.
Yep.
And then you came right out here in the comedy, like you were already, you knew that that's what you were doing.
Yeah, and then it made it kind of easier to move out here because it was just like I moved to New York, you know, it is the way, if you can live there, you can live anywhere. Why did I just forget you can make it here, you can make it anywhere?
Yeah.
Didn't make it in New York, but you can still make it anywhere if you survive in New York. So yeah, it was like that was the craziest thing, and so then I feel like I could live anywhere.
Yeah, like you've already done the crazy stuff, so you can do it all.
And it's funny, even when I went to college and was majoring in education, my dad kind of tried to warn me away from it. He's like, "Oh, there's no money, don't you want more money? Teachers don't get paid enough or whatever."
Like,
and now,
yeah, you should dive into stand-up comedy.
Exactly. Like, I'll show him I can make even less money than teaching.
I'll prove him right or wrong. Yeah. I see you and I'll double it. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Every parent's dream.
Yep. Yep.
No, but you're doing such amazing things, and like your personality and just who you are naturally is like destined for this. I mean, by this, I mean, of course, being diagnosed with breast cancer. I had to do it.
I have the personality for cancer.
I'm just kidding.
But it does feel, I mean, I'm sure you feel with like starting We Got This, like that's why, you know, I was so excited to meet you, and it's like, it's just so nice to meet people in the cancer community who are turning it into something positive. And like, it just feels, it's like, we're not going to live with this shitty thing. Like, I will make something good come out of this. Yeah.
And then more with that, so we had Grace here today also, Grace
Nice,
Helbig,
yes,
who I know you know
love
also.
Grace.
And Grace is amazing, and her show that she's touring. Have you gone to see it yet?
I have not, no.
Oh, it's so fun.
Because it sells out.
It sells out. I mean, it's amazing. Grace's show is called Let Me Get This Off My Chest. You guys really, I mean, considering how many boob puns there are, I feel like you guys really were like, ooh, I'm going to elevate the boob pun, make it really spot on. It was perfect. No, we were talking about how like it's really amazing what she's doing with it, because I think like Grace has lived so many lives in her content career and all that she's done. And I told her this like the first time we went out to lunch. I was like, I mean, honestly, from us talking together, like I think cancer is the least interesting thing about you, you know?
Yeah.
But I love that she's leaning into it in a comedic way, and because it does normalize so much, like what, you know, people feel like they can talk about and hear about, because they're questions that you wouldn't think to ask. Like, I know I say all the time, like before I had cancer, I would have known to not say fighter or not say journey.
Right. Oh,
like,
so much of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why also, like, when people get upset about the things that people are saying to them or whatever, and I'm like, well, but I was on the other side at one point, so I totally, I get it.
I'll delete text now. Like, I'll start writing something like about a friend who maybe got diagnosed, or like someone who's like switching chemos and stuff, and like I'll start typing like, let me know if you need anything.
Yep,
like,
I was just gonna say that.
No,
yes,
no, I tell people not to do that.
I know. But it does. That's like the default thing is like, yes.
We get conditioned in certain ways, and it's because I think most of us do have really good intentions, but I really do think there's something magical about infusing comedy into it in such an intentional way. Because, you know, I was actually saying this to Grace, because a lot of her performance is about, you know, bowel movements. And it's a big piece of her story, and she does it in such a funny way. It's also like, it is educational in its own way, like of understanding these things. And her, just the way she could just tell a story normally, and it's hilarious because she's just like, you guys have that comedic personality. But, you know, a lot of stuff we just wouldn't discuss. And then if we did discuss it, it would make people really uncomfortable. Like, if we only told it, like, its basic thing, everyone would be like, oh, sorry you went through, you know?
Yes.
But, like, when you give people permission to kind of laugh along with you, and it doesn't have to be, like, laughter's not all the same. Sometimes you're laughing at people, you're laughing with people. Like, a lot of the experiences we go through are hilarious.
Yes.
Right?
And it's so nice to, like, audiences, and like the fact that it educates too, like for people to come up and be like, I learned so much and I laughed, and the fact that you're giving people who haven't experienced it, they can laugh at it, but then more importantly, people that have or are experiencing it to be able to laugh at it. And like, I feel like Grace and I, because we've spent so many years in comedy and like working that muscle, we're able to like give that to other people who don't normally do that. Or like, it was so helpful for me to be able to laugh at things because, and I feel like I mentioned in my show too, that when even going through certain things that suck, it's like, but okay, this part of it is actually funny, and it really does help. And then I loved like at performing my show and having people with cancer come up to me afterwards, and like one girl told me, she's like, oh, my husband and I, like, we were able to laugh at this, but I couldn't like talk about it and laugh about it. Like, and so you were able to do that, and it was so nice. Or just giving people a different perspective to be able to laugh at it is like the best.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that with your, you know, one woman stand-up show, obviously a lot of things might be differently funny to me because I've gone through it. But like, you know, it came with my husband too, and Eric loved it also. And it's like, everyone has a cancer story, or something, unfortunately.
Right.
But fortunately, it's like when you watch something like you bringing to light these certain things, it's not just people with cancer, and definitely not just specifically breast cancer. Like, it's humans can relate to these things.
Yeah.
And I think that it opens up a conversation for a lot of stuff.
Totally.
Like, especially as women, you know, there's so many things that we don't realize a lot of people went through until it became more open.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, this is just another example where so many people feel like they can't talk about it or be heard or understand.
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason why, like, this whole gift giving thing became kind of like my main mission, was because people didn't feel like they could really ask.
Yeah.
Or like, what kind of symptoms are you having?
Right.
Or, I don't know, or they wouldn't have known to.
Yeah.
And so, like, by being more open about that, I think that it expands not just for cancer, but like it's kind of fueled how I approach when people are going through grief, or like even people being sick.
Yeah.
You know,
because it's like everybody experiences grief. We should, especially. I mean, I feel like our country is so, you know, doesn't talk about it, and we should.
Yeah.
It's this universal thing. And then cancer, especially now, is when more and more people, more and more young women are getting breast cancer specifically, and more people are getting colon cancer, and we need to talk about it more. And even with, you know, I don't have kids, but with pregnancy and giving birth, I feel like my friends who have had kids learn so much going through it, all these things that you didn't know before. And it's like, why aren't we talking about this more? Again, women's health things we just don't know about.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because it's like, when I was pregnant, there were things I learned about that I had no idea existed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of things for your nipples.
Yeah.
I did not realize to the extent.
Yeah.
You know, you just think like, oh, you just pop the baby
Right?
up. It's no big deal. I know, it's really funny. Grace and I also, I think you'll relate to this, but Grace's story was about judging the world's ugliest dog competition. It was great. You're gonna have to listen to that one too.
Yes.
But
it's always a Chinese crested. That's right.
Usually, but this was a whole different level. Like, these were dogs around the country being flown in for this competition.
Wow.
The one who won, Mr. Happy Face, Google it if you hear this.
I will.
He ended up being in the movie Deadpool after he was like the ugly dog in Deadpool.
Good for him.
Really, like, what a launching pad.
Wow.
Yeah, but what I was saying is, like, an example of being in the ugly dog competition, I'm relating this back to cancers, bear with me, is you don't want to be like you don't want to be like the pretty ugly dog, because you're not going to win the ugly dog competition. And then you're also not pretty enough for the normal dog competitions, right? And that's kind of how I think of our age group in the cancer community. So you look at like adolescent young adults, which is traditionally like ages 15 through 39. But I think in our community that it extends like even into like your 50s, you know, well into your 50s now. Because it's like people's image of cancer is that you're a really young pediatric like child or you're like super old. Yeah. And then it's like we come into the picture to make everyone super uncomfortable. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because they're like, oh my God, wait. You know, I'm 38 today, but I was 34 when I was diagnosed. And it's like my 34-year-old friend or niece or, you know, that is diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, like with no family history and all that stuff. Like that is scary. Yeah. And so I think a lot of times, one, it's like a lack of just knowing it and knowledge, but then it's also just like leaning into that being uncomfortable. Yeah. And so I think bringing comedy in really helps. Yeah. Because like, again, normalizing these things makes it not as scary. Right. Because like here I am 4 years later, you know, at least 4 years and counting. Well, July 1st, my cancerversary, so knock on wood. We only got the birthday. Oh my God. I was like a little bit time, so it's exactly 4 years with cancer. But you know, I'm living life, right? Yes. Like we're living. Yeah. You know, you've done like what'd you say, like 20-something shows?
Yeah, done the show like 20 times. Yeah.
Yeah. You've talked about safaris and cancer and shrooms. You know, in a house of friends, like over 20 times. Yeah. And I think that's beautiful.
Yes. And I think too, like the fact that we are so open, like there are people that aren't as open or don't they keep their cancer private. Yeah. And so like sometimes people will ask me, you know, they'll start asking something like, but if you don't want to talk about it, I'm like, no, fine, whatever. Like I really do feel like an open book if people have questions. And so I feel like if people just ask somebody that, like, are you okay with me asking questions? But then like ask away. And I feel like it's like when COVID happened, like everybody was talking about it and we weren't afraid to ask really specific questions because it was this new thing and everybody was asking about it. And I feel like, I don't know why that comparison. We should be able to talk about cancer like we talk about COVID.
And that's all, folks. No, but totally. I do agree. And I think there's a lot to be said for that because not everyone has to share it. And that's like a big thing I try to stress is like, I need to be busy if you haven't noticed. Like that really helps me. If I hadn't been planning this today, and this is arguably too much, you know, we had my book launch yesterday. We had the party at the Magic Castle Monday night. We're heading to Boston this weekend for our biggest fundraiser of the year. But like this was important to me because this morning I woke up exhausted, and if I didn't have this plan to like have these awesome discussions with friends, I really think I would have ended up being, and it's okay, but I would have ended up, you know, resting most of the day. Yeah. And that's fine. Yeah. But like on my birthday, that wasn't really how I wanted to spend it. And so I'm glad that I did that. Yeah. But I also think that it's totally fine and super valid, and I almost admire the people who don't feel the need to talk about it all the time. And I think that we balance that. Yeah. So like my hope is that us speaking out and talking about things that, you know, I can only talk about what I've lived with, you know, and these things. But by doing that, we have enough voices to make it so that not everyone has to feel the pressure of explaining their symptoms and side effects. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. So quiet cancer friend out there. We got you. We got you. We got this. We got this. We got you. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. That was nice. Yeah. Where do you want to go from there? That's what this series will be called. Where do you want to go from there? Where do you want to go from there? No, you know, that felt so calming. I know. Oh, the way we just like, we was like, did. Yeah. Well, because it is like, you know, whether it's breast cancer, like breasties community, things like that, cancer, like, or grief. You know, I lost my brother years back, and like, I felt like I had a different understanding of then talking to someone, or I didn't feel as nervous reaching out when someone posted losing someone. Yes. And I liked that. Yeah. Like I felt like that was really powerful, and like I had this new layer of empathy. And I feel that way with like cancer stuff. It's like I forget how we even originally connected. Dr. Scharf. Oh my goodness. Our amazing oncologist. I had a couple other oncologists. I switched insurance. My friend Julia Razi, another comedian with breast cancer, recommended Dr. Scharf. I went in there, of course, loved Dr. Scharf. Yeah.
and was talking about my show. And then she was like, oh my God, you have to meet another one of my patients. Got out the card.
She's so great.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I went to your event like 2 nights later, I guess. I messaged
it was
you,
like
went to that.
meant to be timing.
It really was, yeah.
Where she was like, oh yeah, I have this other patient who's so funny. And you guys are like the same and how you talk about everything. And I love that like we have, I mean, because I always stress like your care team is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because no one knows everything, and
Right.
the smartest doctors will say that.
Yeah.
But like, you want to be with who's bringing you the most cutting edge, and you're talking about your best options.
Yes.
And I love that, like, Dr. Sharf actually was here when we did this give-a-thon
cool.
for Giving Tuesday for the 8 hours. And I love that she thinks to like connect us in other pieces.
Yeah. I know. I was telling a friend, they're like, how LA, like networking at the oncologist's office.
I know. But I think it's because she really sees us as people.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Like she knows about us.
Yes.
Like she remembers our medical history and all those things.
But that was another, like not only is she so smart and she does the research that she does and how, but the bedside manner is pretty great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I mean, a lot of
Genuinely
people
cares.
can probably speak to not having that, of course.
Yep.
I was really grateful to end up with Dr. Sharp too. And I'm originally from Boston, so she had moved over from Dana-Farber.
Oh.
So when you got diagnosed, she was already here.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So when I got diagnosed, I was originally actually at Kaiser Woodland Hills.
Okay.
We'll just skip that chapter.
I was also Kaiser.
Oh, really?
When I was diagnosed, yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. In Woodland Hills or...
No, it was like West LA.
Okay.
That was
yeah. I actually don't have major problems with Kaiser.
Yeah,
My
me
oncologist, though, was not good. She pretty much told me I was like gonna die, which I am. I am going to. We all are. I'm like more likely, we're more right, but no, it was like, she was giving me more like stats, and she's like, well, I have patients who are like 6 to 7 years out, and I'm like, I'm 34. Are you telling me right now like that the goal is to live to 40? But then I actually switched to UCLA and Dr. Sarah Hurvitz at the time, who's brilliant, and she ended up moving and going on to do more brilliant things. But it was just such a different experience. Like I met with her and she's like, oh, whoa, no.
Yeah.
She's like, you're in like the golden age of HER2 positive breast cancer. Like, I mean, we're going to keep doing stuff.
Huge difference. And like how great to hear that. Yeah. I also was not a huge fan of my oncologist.
Yeah.
And my first appointment with Dr. Sharf, it was like an hour long, just like asking me all this stuff.
Always
and I just felt so in such good hands.
Yeah. So when Dr. Hurvitz moved, she was like, so you have different options and everyone on the team is great. Dr. Sharf, I don't know if you're comfortable because she's coming in from Boston. I mean, and Dr. Hurvitz knew I was from Boston. But she's like, she's a younger version of me. And I was like, oh, done. Yeah, I'm sold. And it's so accurate. Because she's just like,
great.
Yeah, so involved. So I love that.
Yes.
I love that we met through.
I know.
We like literally met through cancer.
Yeah, we really, Not even a cancer event. Like,
yeah.
And I also, I'll plug Angela Trimber, lived in LA, now lives in New York. Have you heard of that name? She sets people up in like support groups. And so that was huge because it was other people like my age. It was like it's specifically breast cancer because she has breast cancer, and it's this Marco Polo video app where you send video messages to each other. So you can like reach out to her if you want to be put in a group. And so she puts you with like 5 or 6 other women. So I was with other women in their 30s, and we were all going through treatment. And so we all had each other when we really needed it and could just like, and then, we started texting and FaceTiming or whatever, but to talk about what we were going through. Because as you know, with cancer and with grief, like to talk about people who get it is so important.
Totally.
So that's another thing.
I love that.
You
Good
get diagnosed, you got to find a community.
Let's plug you. Where can everyone find you?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm at Hey Julia Johns on Instagram, and hopefully I'll be doing some more LA shows. I'll be in Cincinnati and Portland doing the show later this year, and
I love that. Let me know when more are happening in LA, and obviously we'll reshare and post too about the other show dates. But I'll definitely be coming back with
right.
a slew of
Yay.
with anyone. Like I said, anyone could enjoy it, but I'm probably going to bring cancer peeps.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's my favorite audience for it.
I love it. Well, thanks for being
Yeah.
crazy with me.
Oh my
You're
God.
amazing.
Thanks.
We'll hug it out.
Yay.
Anything else? Okay.
You want us to kiss?
I love it.